Welcome to the virtual 2020 IPAC Unity Forum. We will have a Q&A with the candidates, one question at a time.
Would you favor America's foreign policy to be based on institutional, rules-based alliances, or are we better with flexible transactional America First relationships?
Coalitions and our network of alliances are the underpinnings of the relative peace that the world has enjoyed since World War II. Not only do I reject President Trump's embrace of dictators and strongmen, but I deeply disagree with his refusal to work with NATO, the United Nations, and other international organizations whose purpose is to maintain stability in an uncertain world. The President's ripping up of the Iran deal, for example, has already set back our aims in the region and brought us dangerously close to war. The same goes for his unilateral decision to assassinate General Soleimani, which, as a former Air Force intelligence officer, I find to be incredibly irresponsible. America should always work with its allies, not in spite of them, to pursue our aims around the world.
Hello, I believe that as a world leading power, we have to follow the rules and regulations and the code promoted by international organization. We have to follow the rules and regulation and come into alliances with other countries who are willing to address the issues. We had 7 decades of economic development, peaceful coexistence, and we can still maintain that. To take the example of COVID-19 virus situation, pandemics, the world as a whole was not prepared for it, and we failed to cooperate with each other. We did not exchange information properly. So I would promote that we have understanding, trust among the nations so we can face the problem of the world as a whole. COVID-19 pandemics has shown us that we need to come together, work together, and follow the rules and regulations set by the international organization. We cannot afford to run on our own. Climate change is another issue. We have to work together to address the issues of the climate. The experts are saying a little change in temperature, a little change in atmosphere, a little change in the world environment impacts us as a human being. So we as a human being, as a family of humans, we have to come together and address our global issues together. We cannot just run on our own. We have to cooperate with each other. We have to make people understand with logic, with expertise, why we need to come together. We have to take care of our ocean. Plastic is a big issue. Renewable energy can help us. Those are the things we have to work together as a world community. And I welcome all of you to come and work for a future glorious world and America.
Hi, I am Brenda Lopez Romero, and I'm running to be your next Congresswoman for the 7th. I have a background in foreign policy, diplomacy, and developmental work, which is why I support our State Department and state officials to ensure that this is the collaborative nature that we deal with. And once in Congress, I will push away from this administration's isolationist tactics and move us back to our leadership role amongst our international governmental organizations like the UN and support our own institutions like USAID through greater funding, because this is how we need to deal being a citizen of the globe and a country of the globe, where we share in our exercises and that we work on issues of conflict or issues of violence anywhere in the country that threatens the human dignity of any person. This is the type of Congresswoman that I will be, to ensure that I work on strong foreign national policies that ensures that's collaborative and that is also respectful of the local and regional actors in any area where we are put to have any involvement, but never in a unilateral issue, but always working with international institutions. And that's why we need to have a congresswoman like myself that is knowledgeable about these issues and has done the collaborative work across racial, ethnic, and national backgrounds, because we need someone that also has cultural sensitivity and understanding and the utmost respect to be of a diverse background.
Fourth question. Would you favor America's foreign policy to be based on institutional rules-based alliances, or are we better with flexible transactional America First relationships? So I strongly favor our permanent international alliances and participation in international organizations, and would work in Congress to ensure our continued participation in them. Alliances such as NATO and the UN have promulgated rules that require certain behaviors from its members. Acting in this way, these organizations have created a collective force that stands in defense of its members' liberal and democratic values. Similarly, permanent bilateral alliances with Japan and South Korea have helped ensure the stability and integrity of those nations in the face of foreign threats, allowing both to make the transition to liberal democracy. Permanent alliances are the only way to achieve this long-term regionally and national stability, as they are not subject to the uncertainty of transactional whims. These cooperative agreements have not only ensured the peace, but encouraged cultural and political exchanges between members. The permanent presence of the NATO alliance has helped foster democratic values across Eastern Europe since the end of the Cold War, and helped to protect these nations from Russian ambitions in that region. Additionally, much of the cultural exchange inherent in these alliances help to build friendly and cooperative relationships between disparate cultures all over the world. Beyond supporting stability and peace, permanent alliances expressed through organizations like the UN and the WHO have become the primary form of international cooperation in nearly all aspects of national policy. The UN provides the largest body of all experts from all over the world in numerous fields that have actively participated in managing crises and helped to develop nations around the world. The WHO, whose funding is currently under the threat from the Trump administration, provides the best source for monitoring global pandemics, exchanging expertise on public health, and transferring resources between nations. Not only does the United States receive the material benefits of its membership in this organization, it also offers us the opportunity to present our best qualities to the international community.
So I support an institutions-based foreign policy. I believe we need to shore up our international institutions, such as the United Nations and NATO. One of my big disagreements with the Trump administration is that he has really undermined those institutions. And we see it right now with his response to the coronavirus, where he has pulled back funding from the World Health Organization. If this current crisis has taught us anything, it is that our health is interconnected. My neighbor's health affects my health. It is the same way on a global scale. The health and well-being of neighboring countries affects the health and well-being of this country. And that is why defunding the World Health Organization in the middle of a global pandemic is so destructive. Similar to health, it's the same with the economy. And the United States foreign policy has always recognized that the economy and economic well-being of other countries benefits us. And this is basically a concept you see in political science of self-interest rightly understood. And that is the idea that we think broadly, we think long-term about the environment in which we all operate. And by that, our own interests are served when everyone else is doing well also. And I think that needs to be a fundamental tenet of how we approach foreign policy in this country.